Sadhana and many blessings to all of you on this beautiful day. Before we start our journey, the journey of unity, where you and me are one, there is this beautiful rule. It's called the rule of the heart, or I will say it opens the door of the heart, which is the door of paradise. And that rule is the rule of love, is how to be in reverence. Until you are not in reverence, the doors of paradise, which is the door of the heart, is not open. So how to be in reverence before the unity or the meeting of the heart and heart can happen? Today we will have heart-to-heart conversation. The Sufis call these Sina Ba Sina. Sina Ba Sina, which means heart-to-heart communication. But before we come into the heart, there's this rule, there's this procedure, there's this process. Everything has a process. Your birth had a process. You had to go through a process. And death has a process. Similarly, in order to go into the heart, there's a process. And that process is called reverence. Mahavira, the founder of the Jain tradition, when somebody asked him, "Is there God? Is there God?" Mahavira said, reverence is God. Reverence is God. That's it. When you're in reverence, something opens up. And who do you be in reverence to? You be in reverence to the breath. You be in the reverence to the heartbeat. You be in reverence to the mountains who have been standing in the mountain poses. You be in reverence to the trees who've been standing in tree poses. You be reverence to the totality. And how to be in reverence? When the hands are open, and when the hands are moving, and when the fingers are moving, this moves. Okay, how to go into the heart, how to open the door of paradise we are talking about. When this moves, when this is open, your story, your personal story, which is here all the time, is open. In order to be in the heart, you close this open book. So this is the process of entering into the heart. It's so simple. When the hearts are united, that union of duality is called dharma. When two opposite forces that are in a constant conflict, it can be your thoughts, it can be a relationship, it can be anything. When two opposite forces that don't agree, that don't have the same frequency, they come in union. The left and the right, the yin and the yang, the negative and the positive, the Shiva and the Shakti, the two polarities of life, which is called the realm of samsara. When the hands are moving, samsara is there, karma is there. This is karma. Karma means movement of the hands, which gives movement to the head. So from here to here, journey is very simple, and the reverence comes when you fold the hands. Let's enter the realm of dharma and come out of the realm of karma, going into reverence. The very reverence is God itself. So the journey starts in the yogic teachings. Only reverence starts the journey, not the books, not information, not levels. When both unity of the hands and the unity of the left and the right brain happens, then journey starts. So let's start our journey, and as taught by Yogi Bhajan, we tune in with Ong, Namo, Gurudev, Namo. This frequency will make you and me one. And that is the power of the mantra. Two individuals Sitting far apart gets a union, becomes one jet with one frequency. So let's close our hands and close our eyes. Left eye is time, right eye is space. Shutting the realm of time and space. And when these two eyes are shut, you roll the eye and you look up here, where time and space unites. When the time and space, the left and the right eye open, you are in the realm of Kal, the realm of Kal, which means duality. And when these two are closed and you come here, this is called Akal, the realm which tears time and space, just by closing your eyes. Now, as you close the eyes, very important, we are still uniting, okay? So the question and answers will come. You will have that opportunity. But before we go into that, so that it's a heart-to-heart session, we need to unite. You and me must become one. Then there will be questions and then there will be answers. If not, only questions will remain. There will be no answers. So closing of the two eye and anchoring it here. Now, a very important point. Closing the eye does not mean shutting the eyelids. Closing the eye does not mean shutting the eyelids. Now, along the shutting of the eyelids, your two eyes or the eyeballs or the pupils must stop moving. Both eyes must not move. When the eyes are stationary, or I will use the yogic term, when the eyes are sitting, mind sits. So we have already shut the mind, and more shutting of the mind by shutting the eye and not allowing the eye to move. When the eyes sit, mind sits. When mind sits, universe sits. Simple process. Eyes close and bring the awareness to the third eye, and both eyes must not move. Let's start our journey, and we will tune in with Ong Namo Gurudev Namo, which means I am not. Ong Namo means I am not. The universal consciousness is. Gurudev Namo means I am not. Only the wisdom of radiance is. So eyes closed. Let's tune in with 2 breaths. Spine straight. When the spine is straight, the universe is aligned. Your spine corresponds to the Milky Way. So when you are aligned, when the spine is straight, you are aligned with the Milky Way. And Milky Way is a portal. It's a stargate through which the unknown universe manifests into the known universe from the yogic perspective. Let's start our journey. Eyes closed, and the eyeballs or the pupils shall not move. Spine is straight, and put an intention that for the next 1.5 minutes, I shall reside in my heart. I shall reside in my heart. Put that intention. And please shut your history. Please close your history book so that the higher you can be experienced, even if it comes for a second. How do you know it has come? You will feel a sense of anchoring. You will feel a sense of sitting. There may be tears in the eye. You may start hearing the pulse or the beat of your heart. You may start feeling the pulse of your 2 palms. Beautiful. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. And inhale and hold your breath. As you hold your breath, let this breath be the breath of Guru Ram Das. Let it heal you. Let it elevate you. Eyes closed, spine straight. Hold the universe. You're not holding the breath. You are holding the universe. And this is the fact. Hold. And very slowly, you let the breath go. Exhale. And one more time, you inhale. Hold the breath. And please lift your heart. As you hold the breath, you lift your heart. When the heart is lifted, miracles happen. Beautiful. Lift the heart, lift the heart, lift the heart, lift the heart. Let the heavens be closer. And exhale. And one more time, inhale. And you hold the breath. And please lift your heart and lift your navel. Pull the navel in and up. Lock the prana so that the five winds, the prana, apan, saman, udayan, and vyan, can be in union. When you hold the breath and you lift the navel, the five pranas are anchored. Stress, depression, and all that stuff which you want to get rid of automatically dissolves when the five winds are balanced. Hold the breath, lift the heart, navel in and up, and exhale. And just for 30 seconds, sit still and become aware. Kundalini Yoga, yoga of awareness. Become aware of any shift in the physical body, in the mental body, in the energetic body. Give awareness. And this awareness is an opportunity to dive deeper into yourself. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just sit still. Sadhana. Blessings to all of you. Today's session, we have opened the doors and we have become one. Our frequency is one. Our breath is one. We will start with diving in to one of the most beautiful sound currents given birth by Guru Nanak. When Guru Nanak inwombed the universe, when Guru Nanak became pregnant with totality, sages, masters, enlightened ones, seekers, those who walk the path. With time, they become pregnant with the divine. They carry the universe within themselves. And when they have inwombed that, the process of inwombing, getting pregnant with the universe, is called sadhana. Sadhana is a process. And when the sadhana is complete, they give birth. And that is called Shabad. Guru Nanak, for 3 days, sat with this pregnancy and he gave birth. And we know that it is Japji. The very first part of Japji, the first word, if you can just understand that, journey is over. You too can invoke the divine. The first word Guru Nanak said was Ek Oankar. Ek Oankar. Journey starts here and journey ends here. Ek means unity. Unity. And that's the first experience you experience when you give birth to the divine. You cannot see two, you see one. Unity. It's called Ek. And Om means beingness. Beingness. You are. I am. I am. Before you are anything, before you are stressed, before you are depressed, before you are angry, before you relate yourself with a certain emotion, with a certain circumstances, with a certain being, with a certain content of your mind, you have to be there. You are. I amness, it is called. In the words of the Buddha, this is called Tat-Gatha, Tattva, suchness, amness, I-ness. That has to be there. And that is Om. Unity, Om, being, the beingness in me. Before anything intervenes, before anything opens up in my realm, good or bad, the realm must be there. So you are there. You are there before anything comes into your field. Very important. This is very important. I'm going very slow. You are before anything enters your field. So that beingness, which is before anything that you relate, the content of the mind, before you relate to the content of the mind, you are. And this are is just beingness. You are not something, you just are. I am not this, I am not that. I am, I am. Before any identity, before any concept, before any stress, before any emotion, before any concept, whatever. You relate yourself to be, I am this, I am that. You have to be, that beingness is on. And kar means the content that appears in my realm. Om is beingness, kar is the content which appears in my realm, is one. Unity of being. Now, this may seem philosophy, but this is our everyday experience. Let's dive just a bit deeper into this, just a bit deeper. Ikonkar also means me, I, and all that is within me, outside me, is one. Now, you are seeing me. You are seeing the computer. You're seeing the laptop. From mind's perspective, this is different. But if you dive into your consciousness, into your beingness, Where is this seeing happening? You are seeing me. You are seeing the laptop. Where is the seeing happening? The seeing is happening inside you. I'm repeating myself. Where is this seeing happening? It's happening inside you. You are hearing me. Where is this hearing happening? It's happening inside you. You see the mountains. Where is that seeing happening? It's happening inside you. You see the oceans. Where is that seeing happening? It is happening inside you. You see the mountains. You see the waxing and the waning of the moon. Where is that happening? It's happening inside you. You have never experienced anything outside of you. You cannot experience anything outside. You have always experienced the outer inside. There is no way you can experience anything different from you. Everything that you see inside. Everything that you hear inside. Everything that you touch and you perceive, you are perceiving it inside. You have never experienced an independent world. I repeat, you have never experienced anything outside of you because there's nothing outside. There's nothing outside. Seeing happening inside, hearing happening inside, perceptions happening inside. And this unity, it's not philosophy, my friends. This is the direct experience of Ik Oankar. You and me are one. That's what Ik Oankar means. I have never experienced anything outside of me. Whenever I want to experience something, it is only experienced within me. So that Ik Oankar, we will do a 1-minute meditation with just the word of Om. And when you are chanting this, visualize everything inside you. Visualize the mountains inside you. And this is the fact, my friends. You're not visualizing it. You are not creating this idea. In fact, they are different from me is your idea. It's your mind's idea. But your consciousness never experiences anything outside of it. So go into consciousness. First, sit in your beingness. Let's sit in our beingness. Just your beingness. Don't identify with any content, with any concept, with any emotion. Just sit straight. Just come into the sense of amness. I am. The yogis call these I am. This is what it means. Eyes closed, and we will be chanting the mantra Om, which means beingness, which means everything is within me. Eyes closed, just for a few moments, we will be inhaling and we will be vibrating this mantra in our entire body to experience all that is within me. Eyes closed. Om. times, deeper. Om. Om. Inhale and hold your breath and lift your heart and experience the totality within yourself, because this is the reality. You have never seen outside. You always see inside. Everything is happening inside. You see inside yourself, inside you. You hear inside the self. You perceive inside the self. And exhale. And one more time, inhale and hold. Lift your heart, navel in and up, and visualize, experience the totality within yourself, the mountains, the oceans, the sun, the moon. The furthest galaxy is actually inside you. This whole is you. It's called Brahma Gyani Ka Sagla Akar. The awakened one is one with totality, the unity of being. And this is a fact. This is the experience of your consciousness. Only when the mind interferes, then the duality is seen. And exhale. And one more time, inhale and hold. And lift your heart, navel in and up. And hold. The seer and the seen are one. That which is being heard and the hearer are one. That which is being perceived and the perceiver are one. And exhale. And just for 15 seconds, sit still and experience this. Drop it. And if you're not able to go into this mind state, in the words of Yogi Bhajan, just fake it and you shall make it. In fact, you are not faking it. This is the fact. The duality is being faked by the mind. I repeat, you and me and the totality is different, is the fake of the mind. The real experience is that you and me are one, because everything you are perceiving inside you. I am inside you and you are inside me, because that perceiving, that seeing, and that hearing is happening inside. So that means the whole cosmos is me. I am all, and that's what Ik Oankar means. Beautiful. Inhale and hold and exhale. And Sadhana. So blessings to you, having experienced the unity. And there's a beautiful sutra in the Sri Guru Granth which says, the self questions and the self answers. The self is lost and the self finds. So that is the meaning of Ekonkar. Nothing has been separated from you. It cannot be separated. It's impossible. The fish in the water thinks that the water is different. The water, I don't have access to the water. The fish in the water sees everything, but it can't see the water. Similarly, we see the content of our consciousness, but we don't see our consciousness. But without the consciousness, the content cannot be there. And this consciousness is called Karta Purkh. Purkha means consciousness. Karta means active in the here and now. What you are experiencing is the play of your consciousness. So you and me are one. You are in me, I am in you. The mountains are in me, the trees are in me, the oceans are in me. And I'm repeating myself, this is our real identity. This is our only identity. And that is called Sat Nam. Sat means unchanging. Nam means identity. See, everything is changing. The content is changing. I am coming, I'm going. Your emotions are coming and going. The mountains may be coming and going. But that whole consciousness within which this is happening, that unity, Ekonkar, Satnam, this is the only true identity. Everything else is changing. So with this in mind, let's be in union and let's start our questions and answers. Satnam.
Thank you, Yogi Amandeep. Our first question is, what can you say about depression? How best to appreciate it and use it as a gift of self-elevation?
Depression?
Depression, yes.
Intuitively, when I thought, what will be the questions you guys are going to ask? Yesterday, I was contemplating. I don't really do that, but for some reason, yesterday, I was contemplating, thinking maybe what kind of questions will come. And this was the first question I thought you guys are going to ask. Depression. First of all, what is depression? When you hold too much things in yourself, when you put too much pressure down, when you hold, when you put pressure on yourself, that is called depression. The first thing that will be affected will be your navel. If your navel is aligned, you cannot be depressed. Simple. If your navel is aligned, you cannot be depressed. Navel is your root. In the womb of the mother, before anything was manifested, okay, the first channel, the root is your navel. So whenever you are unaligned, whenever you are not aligned, the first thing that will be affected will be your navel. So depression equals navel not aligned. First. Second, the breath is not aligned. Two. That's all. When the navel is not aligned, when the breath is not aligned, you have no choice, the body has no choice but to be depressed. Now, how to align the navel? How to align the breath? You just need to do this for 6 months. It will not change the outer situations. It will not change the outer situation, but it will align you. You will hold your space. You will hold your strength. You will stand. When the navel is aligned, you are able to stand. You're able to sustain yourself. Whatever depression thoughts, whatever outer conflicts is contributing to the depression will automatically be thrown away. You will create a shield around yourself. Only when the navel is weak and the breath is out, you will be depressed or you will be stressed. So the first thing is navel. How to align the navel. And within 6 months, and you don't need to do for 2 hours. You don't need to do for 3 hours. You do for small sessions during the day. Once in the morning, once during the day, and one in the evening. To make it life simpler for you, when the sun is rising, number 1, when the sun is above your head, number 2, and when the sun is setting, number 3. This is when your energetic field you can easily assess. These are the three sandhyas, they are called, or junctions, where the outer portals and the inner portals are accessible. So 1, 2, and 3. And the kriya is, you're going to inhale and you hold. Hold your breath as long as you can. Because when the navel is unaligned, the 5 pranas in the body, prana, apana, samana, udyana, and vyana, the 5 winds, you are nothing but the movement of the 5 winds. That's it. When these 5 winds are not aligned, you are not aligned. You can call it anything. So I'm giving you the root. I'm giving you the essence. Holding the breath, that automatically aligns the 5 winds in. And as you hold the breath, and you apply Mool Bandh, and you just hold, until you can't hold it anymore. And then you exhale. Hold the breath out, the next part. Hold the breath out. Throw the breath out, empty. And again, pull the navel in and apply Mool Bandh. And you hold the breath out, hold the breath out, you hold the breath out, you hold the breath out, until you can't hold the breath out anymore. Then again you inhale, and you hold, and you apply Mool Bandh, and you pull the navel in and up, and hold, and hold, and hold, and you keep doing this for 3 to 4 minutes. Maximum 5 minutes, not more than that. Not more than that. And then ending with 3 minutes of both nostrils inhaling and exhaling. Whenever you are in deep depression, your right nostril will work. In deep depression, try this if you think you are, in depression. Whenever you're deep depression, your right nostril will work more. Right nostril is a karmic breath. Right nostril is a karmic breath. And then there is wisdom breath. The left side is neutral breath. Okay? Karmic breath. Right side is karmic breath. Left is neutral breath. Neutral breath. You can manifest anything out of it. It is not karmic. It is free. It has no chains attached. It does not pull you back. This right side pulls you back. Because you did something, certain things affected you, that whole pattern is called the holding patterns. The patterns that hold you, that's what depression is, because you're holding it. You're not letting it go. So when you hold the prana totally starts cleansing you. That is number 1. I'm repeating. Right side, okay, right side is karmic breath. Left side is neutral breath. Then there is a breath called the wisdom breath. Wisdom breath. Wisdom breath frees you. And that wisdom breath comes when you inhale and exhale through both nostrils, which you do every time when left is becoming right and right is becoming left. And those of you who know what I'm talking about, every 2.5 to 3 hours, the shift of the nostril happens. That's why your emotions, your concepts, your ideas, your thoughts are constantly changing, because your nostril is changing. You're going from neutral to karmic, neutral to karmic, neutral to karmic. but rarely we assess the wisdom breath. The wisdom breath. In the ancient sutras, there is this beautiful sutra which says, you will never be affected by your mind. You will never be affected by your mind. Mind is depression, mind is stress, mind is problem, mind this is not right, mind this is right and this should not be this way. The ancient sages describe mind as you are here, you want to be there, you are there, you want to be here. This is what mind is. And the sutra says, the mind do not affect those who knows how to inhale and exhale the wisdom breath. The breath of wisdom. When both nostrils work, it's called the breath of wisdom. When you are in transcendent state of consciousness, one is called Vyadi. 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 Vyadi means depression. Sanskrit. Vyadi means conflict. Vyadi means it's not like that, it should be like this. This is not right, this is not wrong. That is Vyadi. And opposite of conflict is called Samadhi. Samadhi means a unity. Whatever is happening in the moment, it is beautiful. I'm accepting my totality. I'm not stuck in one concept. Oh, I am depressed. I am depressed. I am depressed. But there's so many other things around which is going perfect as it is, but you're stuck in just one thought. That is called Vyadi. You're stuck in one thought. You are encaged in just one thought. Because one, you see, thoughts, what are thoughts? Thoughts are not here. Emotions are not here. This channels them, this creates them, but emotions, concepts, whatever you identify yourself to be, you are this, you are that, is in the nadis. Nadis are spiritual, subtle veins. There are 72,000 nadis. When a certain nadi is energetically stuck, you are stuck with one thought. Depression means more than one nadi or the subtle meridian or the vein in your energetic body is stuck. It's an energetic stuck. It has nothing to do with your thoughts. The thoughts may contribute to the getting stuck of that thought, but ultimately the base is the prana, the 5 winds. So when both nostrils work, one is called Vyadi, you are conflicted, you are in two. One is Samadhi, you are in totality. When both nostrils work, you have to transcend your mind. You have to, you will. That is the law. When both nostrils working, you are in Samadhi. Only 2 times in your life, this both nostrils work for more than 3 seconds. When you're shifting, okay, those of you know what I'm talking about, it takes 3 seconds to shift from left to right. Only 2 times in your life, these both nostrils work more than 3 seconds. One is when you are in Samadhi, okay, when you're giving birth to God. Look at that. With the nostril change, you can give birth. And when you are dying, at the process of death, both nostrils will work. Maybe in the future we can go in detail. But now coming back to your question, you cannot be in depression if both nostrils are working. In the beginning, you have to force. In the beginning, you have to force. But as you go on, this becomes part and parcel. It becomes a sahaja. It becomes a part of you when the breath are with your intention. I repeat, with your intention, both nostrils work. You put an intention and both nostrils start working. That is called wisdom prana. But for that to be attained in the beginning, we use force. Before sahaja, intuitive ease can be attained, you have to apply force. That is called Hatha Marga or Hatha Yoga. That's where it comes from. Before Sahaja, okay, Sahaja, intuitive ease. Intuitive ease is your true nature. Before that is experienced, the sages mentioned, you can use force in the beginning. So the path first is masculine and then it becomes a feminine. So as long as you're in the masculine path, you have to use force until everything becomes a sahaja. Meditation becomes a sahaja. Everything becomes intuitive ease. You sit, you close your eyes and you transcend it. But before that happens, force has to be used. And then you inhale forcefully through both nostrils and you exhale forcefully through both nostrils. It will look something like this. And forcefully. In the beginning, feel free to create the sound because this sound will anchor you. Okay, we have to start from somewhere. So inhale forcefully and exhale forcefully. You can do it for 1 minute and relax. Do 2 minutes, relax, and then do 2 minutes, relax. So this is the second part of the Kriya. And you do this for 6 months. Automatically, the 5 winds will be balanced and the mind will be transcended. And the question said, how can I look at positively? Depression is giving you an opportunity to find yourself. To find yourself. And that is the gift. Because if there was no depression, you would never bother to find yourself. So depression, sickness, stress, negative thoughts, when somebody hurts you, this is the universe knocking on your door. Open your heart. This is an opportunity for you. So it's a blessing. When Kunti, the great devotee of Lord Krishna was very happy. What do you want? Kunti says, give me depression. It's a gift. It gives an opportunity to knock your heart, knock the door of your heart and assess that which cannot be assessed. So pain, stress, depression is a gift. For those who are sleeping, time to get up. Time to wake up, time to walk on your journey. So that is the gift, the positive side of depression. So I hope this answered your question. I went a bit more than what you asked because not just to tell you that this is an opportunity to knock on your door, I gave you also the technique to open the door. So blessings to you. We have the next question.
Thank you. The next question is from Jaipreet. She says, I am the caregiver for my mother. How can I support her when the time of transition comes?
Yeah. How can you support her when the time of transition comes?
Yes.
If she can chant a mantra, and if she's capable to chant a mantra, teach her how to chant the mantra, number 1. At the time of death, okay, before I go into that, 24 hours before the death, or the other realm, this is not the end. First of all, you have to understand this. Death is not the end. I mentioned in my previous question, 2 times both nostrils flow, 2 times. One is when you are in samadhi, which is the highest state an individual can attain. The highest evolution of your consciousness that can happen in the human body. The greatest miracle that can happen is samadhi. where you really experience oneness with all. Exactly equal to that is death. So death is not the end. Death is opening up of the next chapter. And for some reason, you have not learned how to die while you are alive, which is the sad part in our modern society. We are taught how to live, but we are never taught how to die. When everybody is going to die. The art of dying, the Sufis, they are the masters of this. A Sufi is never a Sufi if he does not know how to die while living. I will come back to your question, but just to give you what death is and how beautiful this thing is. First of all, your attitude towards it must change. Very important. Your attitude towards it. It's not a negative thing. It's the start of a new story. It's the start of a new chapter. The Sufis, in order to experience death while still alive, they have burial meditations where they dig their grave. And this is one of the meditations. It's my favorite meditation. And I teach this meditation every year when we go to India. We teach you this meditation where you dig your grave and then you go into your grave and you bury yourself and you create the sounds of bardo. Sounds of bardo. You have to learn how to die before you die. Marna to pehla mar gaye bahu, the sutra says. Marna to pehla mar gaye bahu tinna, matlab pashata hu, which means those who have learned the art of dying before they die, they have learned how to live. If you have never lived properly, then death is a very fearful thing. How I wish we had more time on this. First of all, change your attitude, number one. Number two, at the time of death, changing your attitude. Okay, this one. Time of death, 8.4 million sounds are heard. 8.4 million sounds are heard. The sound of the gong, the sound of the conch, the sound of the thunder, the sound of the rain, the sound of the earth, the sound of the galaxy, and the mantras. Va, he, gu, ru, sa, ta, na, ma, ra, ma, da, sa. And all these mantras overlapping each other. And it creates this bombarding of sounds. These sounds that you hear at the time of death was also heard at the time of birth. You came with these sounds, and these sounds sustained you, and these sounds will take life away from you. You are a play of the sounds. In the beginning of the time, if there is a concept of Big Bang, the Big Bang happened. This was the first sounds that were born. First was Ong, and from Ong, 8.4 million sounds were born. 8.4 million sounds. And then you have 8.4 million lifetimes. You have 8.4 million kriyas. You have 8.4 million mantras. You have 8.4 million sutras. You have 8.4 million mudras. And it's all 8.4. Nothing outside 8.4. Everything is 8.4. And just to give you more depth into this, and I'm coming back to your death. Okay? Actually, I'm explaining that. If you were to take your fingers, and you were to measure your body with your fingers, you start from the tip of the toe, and you start measuring yourself with the fingers, and you start measuring yourself with the fingers, with the fingers, and as the body goes in, it goes in, and as it goes out, and all the way until at the tip of your head, you are 84 fingers. Your height is 84 fingers. If you take the finger of the child and you measure the body of the child, it is 84 fingers of the child's finger. It does not matter you're tall, you're short, or whatever, you will get 84 fingers. So 84 is the essence. 84 is the creation. So 8.4 million sounds are heard. And if you have found your sound, 8.4 million sounds gave you birth, and then you are here to find your sound. It's called Naam. It's called Shabad. In the teachings of Yogi Bhajan, the essence is not holding postures. It's not holding the arama. No. It is to find your mantra, find your sound, find your Naam. You're here to find your Naam. If you have found your Naam, if you found your Shabad, if you found your sound, at the time of death, when you hear these 8.4 million sounds overlapping each other, creating a fearful experience, you don't know what is happening. At that moment, if you have found your sound, you will hear your sound clearly because you are familiar with the sound. It's called Prana Sutra. When the sound have entered your prana, you and the prana have become one. The prana and the sound have become one. At that moment, it becomes a thread that helps you to cross the bardo. Bardo is the intermediate space when this door has closed and the next door have not yet opened. So creating the bridge over to the other birth or the next birth. Mantra is very important at the time of death. If for some reason that individual have not worked on this, then teach her a sound current. It does not matter, even if it's for last minute. There's a beautiful story in the Bhagavad Purana. Very long story, but I'm going to cut it short for you. There was this man by the name of Ajamal. His whole life he wasted. Never found his sound. Never found his frequency. You're born with a frequency. We call it mantra, we call it Shabad. And he was towards the end of his life. One day, a sage came into his house. A sage, we call it sadhu. It's called a sadhu. Sadhu are those who walk the path. It's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful word. Sadhu is the one who have perfected his sadhana. He's not strict about the sadhana. Listen, it's very clear. He's not that he's strict about this, very strict about the sadhana. No. He's living the sadhana. It's called a sadhu. It's not that he have done this much sadhana for this many years. No. He's a living embodiment of sadhana. It's called a sadhu. So he comes. And Ajamal knew that when someone like this comes into your life, it means some great karma have bloomed. So he took the opportunity. In the words of Yogi Bhajan, you get one opportunity to meet your teacher. Only one opportunity. Only one. It depends on you. If you recognize or not recognize, that is your problem. But the universe gives you one opportunity to meet your teacher. And this man, towards the end of his life, a sadhu, a teacher, a master came into his life. And he told him, look, I have wasted my life. Help me to cross over. My death is very close. And the sadhu said, what is the name of your small child? What is the name of your small child? The smallest, the youngest child in the house. What is his name? It's a long story. I'm cutting it short for you. And he said, his name is so and so, whatever the name. And the sadhu said, change his name to Narayan. Change his name to Narayan. Narayan is one of the divine names. One of the divine names of totality. Narayan means, Nara means human. Nara means human. Yayan means flow. Narayan means that human who have opened himself to the flow. He is no more closed. He is no more depressed. He is no more pressed. He is no more locked. The five winds are flowing. He is in flow. That's what it means. A human that is in flow. Narayan. It's the name of the divine. Name him. That's all. He said, that's all? Don't you going to tell me wake up at 3 a.m.? Don't you want to tell me to hold my breath? Don't you want to tell me put my leg up, put my hand down and that and this? He said, no. Just name your son Narayan. That's it. So first he doubted. Will this save me? Will this help me? But it was the words of a perfected sage. He who lives, he who embodies a sadhana, not practices a sadhana, he embodies a sadhana. His presence is sadhana. His words is sadhana. His walking is sadhana. His talking is sadhana. That was the sage. And the long story cut short, and it comes time. So he's the youngest child. And for some reason, when the sadhu said, named him Narayan, for some reason that sparked some love, some attachment towards this young son of his. And before that, he was always in his thoughts, I have wasted my life, I did not do this, I should have done that, this kind of thoughts that runs in our head. But now, because the sage said, name him Narayana, he thought he was a special child. And he day and night started to play with Narayan. Narayan, come here. Narayan, get me water. Narayan, do this for me. So he started to chant. He was calling his child's name, but it was a very elevated sound. It was the sound of the frequency of the divine. And day and night, Narayan, come here, play with me. Narayan, give me a hug. And then in a few days, the last moment came. And when he was passing over, you call someone, you want to be with someone whom you are attached with, whom you love, whom is close to you. And this child has become really close. When he was passing over, from the core of his heart, he called for the last time his son, Narayan, and he died. He was calling the son, but the sound was one of the 8.4 million sounds, the elevated sound, the sound of the divine, the higher frequency. At that moment, the story says, Narayan sound gave him the path, held his energetic hand, and brought him over the bardo. So mantra is very important. Start singing some mantras with your mom. Start chanting some sacred mantras with your mom. If she can chant it, tell her to chant. If not, you chant. Create the sacred vibrations so that at the time of passing over, when the door is closed and the next door have not yet opened, the sound can lead. Where everything leaves you, where everything leaves you, it is the frequency, it is the sound, it is the mantra, it is the nad that guides you. So the one and the only thing you need, change your concept of death, number one. Number two, introduce Nam, introduce Shabad, introduce frequency, divine frequency into your mother's life so that she can do the journey beautifully and continue into next lifetime and into next lifetime and into next lifetime. So I hope that answered your question. We will take the last question. So we are going beyond our time, which I knew we will go.
Mm-hmm.
So we will most likely go for another 15 to 10 to 20 minutes. So if that is okay with you.
Okay.
Fine. So we will just do the last question.
Okay. This question is from Maritza. She says that I see my practice is not consistent and strong, and I don't have energy to do a long practice. This makes me unhappy. How can I experience more joy in my practice and not the feeling that I'm not doing enough?
Okay, beautiful. So what's the name again?
Maritza.
Okay. Don't divide your world into practice and no practice. The first mistake we divide our world into two. Before we start a spiritual path, we had one world. When we start a spiritual path, we start to live in two worlds. For us, practice becomes 31 minutes, 2.5 hours. Okay, that's my spiritual practice. Then you come out of it. You are living in duality. So the first mistake we do on the spiritual path is we divide our reality into two. Practice and no practice. The ancient sages, they mention when you start your spiritual path, you are supposed to marry the spiritual path into your ordinary daily activities. This is called the unity of Shiva and Shakti. Don't divide. If you cannot set aside 31 minutes, 2.5 hours, or whatever you assume to be a spiritual practice, then marry them together. There are certain activities which you do every day. So marry that practice into those everyday activities. Now, what does that mean? Somebody asked the same question to Guru Ramdas. And Guru Ramdas gave one of the most beautiful sutras that you can ever, dive into. The best sutra for sadhana. I don't have time for sadhana. I can't do. Guru Ramdas said, Uthat, Bathat, Sovat, Nam. He said the three most ordinary activities. Ordinary activities. Now, sadhana is not an extraordinary activity. As long as sadhana becomes or stays as an extraordinary activity which you specially put aside every day, you're still in duality. You have to bring it into your ordinary activities. If you can set aside 31 minutes, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But until you do not bring that into your ordinary daily activities, you have not yet begun to live in your sadhana. I repeat, you have not yet learned to be in your sadhana. You are doing sadhana. You are not being sadhana. In the words of Yogi Bhajan, very important, listen to this. Don't make a sadhana a habit. And that's what it becomes. It becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, it loses its meaning. It becomes a dead ritual. No life, no joy. It becomes an ordinary, just a simple act, a ritual. Yogi Ji said, don't make sadhana a habit. Make every habit a sadhana. Don't make sadhana a habit. make every habit a sadhana. And those who have done that, they become sadhus. So what does that mean? Now, I'm not against, if you can dedicate certain time every day, it's beautiful. But until you do not bring that into your ordinary life, you are just putting sadhana, your spiritual life or your spiritual evolution into a small segment of your 24 hours, then it will not become part of you. You will never evolve. It has to become all, embracing everything. And what does that mean? Guru Ram Das says, sit, vibrate a mantra. Stand, vibrate a mantra. When you're about to sleep, recite a mantra. So these are the three ordinary activities which we do every day. And these ordinary activities, in today's world, it can be switching the light on, switching the light off, closing the door, shutting the door, opening the door. When you switch on the light, recite a mantra. When you switch off the light, recite a mantra. When you on the TV, recite a mantra. Off the TV, recite a mantra. Sitting in your car, recite a mantra. On the engine, recite a mantra. Coming out of the car, mantra. Stepping into your house, mantra. Stepping into the office, mantra. Starting to eat, mantra. Cutting your vegetables, mantra. Putting your washing utensils, mantra. Washing your laundry, mantra. You get that? Bring into your ordinary activities. Then every action becomes a kriya. Then kriya is no more confined to a specific time and specific duration. It has become your ordinary activity. When you are able to bring mantra or the sound or the nad into every ordinary activities, then washing utensils is no more washing utensils. It has become washing your utensils kriya. When you're sitting in your car, it's no more sitting in your car. It is sitting in your car kriya. So then yoga is part and parcel of your daily life. That's what it means, that Kundalini yoga, yoga of householders. Because everything you learn here, or the essence of these teachings, the essence of this yoga can be applied in your daily life. In other yogas, for example, you cannot be standing on your head and serving people water. But you can serve someone water reciting Vaheguru. So these teachings can be applied to your normal activities. So please don't divide the two. Bring that ordinary activities, bring the mantra into your ordinary activities, and there is no conflict. And then every moment there's an opportunity to chant. And even now, when you're going to shut the TV, shut your laptop at the end of this, you recite a mantra. You're going to get up, you recite a mantra. You're going to walk, initiate every action with a mantra, and that becomes a sadhana. And there's no conflict anymore. It has become one. So that is the marriage of Shiva and Shakti. So blessings to you. And I believe we have more questions, but this is not the end. This is the starting. We are slowly building up, these regular programs we will have. So if your questions were not answered, as in the beginning, Surjot mentioned, if you have some questions, you can always send. It can be answered through a blog or answered through, I don't know how, but the universe will answer your questions. But before I say that, not every question is answered. Not every question is answered. On the spiritual path, you do not receive answer for every question. But with time, the questions dissolve, and that is for sure. As you evolve, questions dissolve. So that is the journey. But until the questions don't dissolve, it's perfect to ask questions. So saying this, it was my privilege today to sit with you and to share this space with you. You are in me and I'm in you. And this is the experience of our consciousness. Only when the thought comes in, the mind comes in, the veil of duality. Guru says, Kiv sachiyaran hoiye, kiv kude tutte pal. If you read Japji, how can this veil be removed? This veil can be removed when you start identifying yourself with your consciousness, which we talked about. So whatever we have shared today with you, In order to understand this deeply, you will be receiving these videos and this recording of today's session. If you want to go deeper, listen this at least 3 times and allow it to imbibe in you. Allow it to become your living experience. Don't get stuck in words. Don't get stuck in philosophy. Whatever I have shared with you is the state of your consciousness. And whatever we discussed, even though if they were mind related, the idea was to direct them towards consciousness. In our true state of being, there is only beingness. I repeat, in our true state of being, there is only beingness. There's nothing else. And that state is within you and within me all the time. It never leaves us. It cannot leave us. Because without it, the content is not there. So your very content of your mind shows that there is a space within you within which this content is coming and going. Instead of relating to the content, start identifying yourself with your consciousness. So may Guru Ram Das be in your heart. And before we end, I would like to invite you. I'm traveling, and my journey is to Taiwan, to Japan, which is coming up. And then I'll be in New York, and the journey continues. I may see you there, but for some reason, you're not able to come and meet me there. I would like to invite you to walk with me in the sacred deserts of India. This year, we have a very special program, and it's in the heart of India. It's called the Thar Desert. It's called Rajasthan. We'll be having a 12 days yatra where we meditate, where we visit sacred sites, where we visit the portals that were built by ancient sages in the sacred land of the Rajasthan. Rajasthan is known as a great portal for 2 most beautiful traditions of ancient India. One of them is called the Jain tradition, the Jains. Your English word genie, the genie and the lamp, comes from this yogic tradition called the Jains. A Jain is the one who through hard work, when you rub the lamp, you're rubbing the body, all these meditations and all that is the rubbing of the body. Those who have rubbed the body, those who have worked on themselves, and those who have successfully separated the consciousness from the vehicle or from the utensil of the body, the lamp, is called a Jain, is called a genie. And these sages are known as the sages of the lamp. We will be visiting their sacred sites, the ancient 24 Tiranthakas, the great masters of humanity. Jain tradition, or the tradition of the genies, is the oldest tradition on the planet. It predates all the teachings. It predates all the religions. It is the primal religion, or the primal shamanic religion, it is called. And they gave birth to many beautiful things, these 24 Tiranthakas, or those who are the masters of sacred space. How to open the space. The whole technology that they invented was applied in the pyramids and many other sacred sites around the world in the ancient traditions, the ancient wisdom traditions. So they were the primal 24 Tiranthakas, or the givers of the sacred space. We'll be visiting their sacred sites, and we'll be diving into their esoteric teachings. Along this, the sages of the heart, called the Sufis. We will be visiting the most sacred shrine of the Sufis, is called the Ajmer, where a great sage of the heart came and sat. Because he sat, that became a sacred site. And when he sat, that Sufi master, he taught people how to dance, how to laugh, how to whirl. Spirituality is very simple. Laughing, dancing, whirling, these are the sacred practices. And we will be having live music. We are inviting these great tradition holders who have been given this wisdom of Nad, wisdom of sacred music, authentic music from father to son until now. They were initiated by these ancient masters, using those ancient esoteric instruments to dive deep. It's a rare opportunity. So if you have the longing to dance, okay, not with this, with this. And if you have the longing to sing, to chant, not with the tongue, but with this, I invite you to walk with me on this sacred land called India, where people worship trees, where people worship cows, where people worship monkeys, where people bow to the elephants. So this is an opportunity to walk with the sages, walk with the path, walk with the Dharma, and walk in the sacred sites. It will be my pleasure to walk with you so that you and me can elevate together. I invite you to be with me. And other than that, the story continues, the journey continues. May Guru Ram Das bless all of you with health, wealth, and prosperity, and the highest gift, from here to here. So saying this, blessings to you. And Rabia, if you have something to share towards the end, please feel free to.
Yes, I would like to share. Thank you everyone for joining us today for this experience. I know for myself, many of those answers resonated deeply within my heart, even though I wasn't directly the one coming to Yogi Amandeep with the questions. So it just shows how connected we really are in that space of unity. I've joined Yogi Amandeep for the past 2 years on Yatra, and I have to say, it's been the most profound spiritual experiences that I've had in my life. I've studied various disciplines over the past 10 to 12 years, but when I took my first class with Yogi Amandeep, I knew that there was something really special that was taking place. Looking back now, I know that I was in the orbit of my teacher, given that promise that Yogi Bhajan speaks about. And I'm deeply grateful for that. The experience at Yatra last year, we did Making of a Yogi. Yogi Amandeep mentioned the grave meditation during this session, and I got to experience that when I was with him in India. And it was extremely transformational. We went to a very sacred a place where they had dug our graves, and each of us got to lay in the grave, and they covered us with dirt, and we were chanting beautiful chants. And there was a lot of fear of death that arose in me. But one thing about Yogi Amandeep is he creates a very safe container for us to unfold and to expand and go through the process of psychological death so that we can experience a rebirth within ourselves. And as I laid in that grave, it was as if all of the psychological debris I was holding on to was being released and going back into the earth. And I've been changed since that experience. And for me, every year, there's no place I'd rather be than on Yatra with Yogi Ji, or being in a spiritual place and receiving the live transmissions that are coming through him. These teachings and transmissions are something that I share with my friends, my family, my students when I come back to the United States. So for me, it's an investment in myself, it's an investment in my practice, and it's an investment in my expansion. So I encourage everybody, if you feel called, take the opportunity, take the chance, give the investment to yourself and join us on Yatra. You'll have an amazing experience that you'll never forget. Since you have joined us for today's webinar, we would also like to share with you a special offer. So I'm just going to put this on the screen real quickly. Just to say thank you for being here with us, we're offering $200 off your registration for Yatra in Rajasthan. So if you're interested and want to take this opportunity, please send an email to mysticaltravels108@gmail.com. And then we'll make sure that you are on the list to receive that special offer. We really look forward to seeing you there. And one other thing that we would like to share with you, we're going to send out a copy of today's webinar to your email. And in addition to that, we're going to send you 2 really special videos. One is from our yatra in 2016 to Hemkunt Sahib, and the other one was from last year when we went to Leh for making of a yogi. So you'll be able to experience a taste of what is to be offered during yatra and decide if it's something that is calling you. So I'm sure it is. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much for being a part of our webinar, and we'll also keep you in touch with the next webinar. We hope to do this regularly, so once we have that date, we will be sharing it with you all. Thank you.
Sadhana, and blessings to you. You will be receiving a recording of this, so you can hear this again and again. Help to pass your friend, maybe someone who needs this wisdom, who needs these teachings, you know. So help spread the word so that the Dharma can flourish. And before we end, there's a prediction by the great Guru Padma Sambhava, the master who brought the Dharma to Tibet, to the highest land. He mentioned when the iron birds will fly in the sky, when the iron birds will fly in the sky, Dharma will be given freely to everybody. So this is an opportunity. This is the predictions of that great master, where Dharma is accessible. You are sitting in your home, I'm sitting in my home, and yet we are in union. So blessings to you. Again, it was my privilege to serve you. May Guru Ram Das be in your heart. Sadhana.